In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to DebateCrypto. Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boys, CryptoKeeper and CVO Crypto here for TA Thursday. Miguel is going to be gone this evening. He's got some stuff going on at home, so you are stuck with me and Paul for the evening, so hopefully that's okay. Paul, how you doing this evening, bro?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me back. Always
Glad
a pleasure
to have you on as always. We got some fun stuff to go over in the markets. Guys, if you are not in the Discord, make sure you guys jump into the Discord. We've got the link down below. Also, if you're looking to follow CVO, if you're looking to dive into some good TA, his information is down below the video. And as always, we've been telling you guys right before us, 5:45 until 7:30-ish, your boy Frankie Candles is on over on BitBoy Crypto as well. So now that we got that all out of the way, let me jump into the chat real quick, say hi to a couple people. We got Shambles, we got CVO, we got Kenton, we got Mike. Who else we got in the chat? Red Robles. What is going on? Hopefully you guys are doing well this evening. Thanks for being here. Let me pull this up real quick. I actually didn't have this up. I want to just hit the market real quick, and I apologize, guys. It's on day mode, so you guys are going to have to bear with me here. I still haven't switched it back, so please forgive me. Forgive your I apologize for your eyes. Oh. So I know the crypto market cap is at 1.86 trillion with the T dollars. We're down 2.67%, and we've got the man on with us to tell us what is going on. Bitcoin about down 2.5% at just over 40K, 40,300. ETH, up under 3,000, or down under, I should say, $3,000 now. BNB approaching that $400 number. Even USDC is under $1. So hey, here we are. XRP 72 cents. Solana just over 100. You see these numbers that I keep talking about, guys. That Solana 100, right? BNB 400, ETH 3,000. These numbers keep coming up, and they are not just technical numbers; they're also psychological numbers. Terra Luna at $90, and Cardano at 90 cents, and Avalanche at $75.06. So, without further ado, let's dive into why we have gone from. I guess I want to start off with this, Paul. Do we have some technical answers for why we went from a couple days worth of like a nice little pump? Yesterday especially was like a really nice pump, and then we started to move, and then just kidding, we're headed back the other direction. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, this whole move actually was pretty technical, but I'm interested to know what news there was today. I didn't really catch anything, if there was anything. So, are you on the news side of things, you got anything for that, or is it just? Dude, just seems like whale manipulation is everybody's reason, right?
Well, you know what? I heard a lot of people saying things about scam wicks, I asked you that before the show. I was saying, hey, it was just a couple scam candles just trying to blow some people out of the water. I do know that the Bahamas is now allowing citizens to pay taxes with digital assets and not just Bitcoin. So that was something that I heard on the news today. But as far as like Bitcoin goes, I didn't hear anything at all. So, Morgan Stanley was saying something about, crypto is going to be more widely used, but there wasn't anything with Bitcoin besides something about some retirement plans that were being talked about. There really wasn't any news. So tell me what the technical side of things are saying.
Sounds good, man. So we started off this week with, let me just do the window here.
Oh, hold on one second. Kenton says, hey, Kenton, drop some more info on this. I did not see this. Jerome Powell spoke at the IMF. I literally had a day I was absolutely pounded today. So if there was something that did happen, please drop it in the chat. I would love to hear that, and we can go deeper on that. But if Jerome Powell did speak, give me some more information. Kenton says they talked about a 0.5% hike. So that, if I need some more context there, but we've been talking about these that's a 50 basis points hike, and that would be bearish for the market, but we've known that all of this is coming. I think the market has priced a lot of that in. So thank you, Kenton. If you want to drop some more info, I can look into it while Paul's pulling some of this up. But let's take a look at the technicals. What you got?
So All right, I didn't think my window was going to share it that way. Let me share it a different way.
My bad.
You're good.
I pulled too early. You ready?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, cool.
It's probably the same thing, I guess. All right. All right. So just kind of going back a little bit here, right? So, weeks and weeks, even on this show, we've been discussing this exact range. I got the yearly key level up here, which is, we talked about this for quite some time. This was a major target for us from months and months ago. And even though when we actually reached the 200 moving average just so happened to line up with it, this was a major area that, as far as preparing ahead of time was something to be paying attention to see if you were going to reclaim this, meaning that you would break above this level 4-hour daily, something of that nature. We did not do that. So this was pretty indicative that we were going to come down back in towards this range, right? I'm going to take this off and just keep this super clean. From here, right, since January 5th, we've basically ranged about throughout this area here with, I bring up the news, right, because I don't really pay too much attention to the news, but I just wanted to see what the reasoning, I guess, news-wise was, because I'm going to walk you through this week a little bit. We had our January Fed meeting. This was the news back here, although this was our, our volume target over here, right, that we were looking for several weeks.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yep.
Right there at 33.5. So we popped it a little bit. The next one right here, this was actually a couple of different areas here, but one of which was this was the yearly point of control over on Binance and a couple other areas as well here. This is our middle of the range from that, June range from last year as well. Blah, blah, blah. We've re-entered the range. And generally, when you re-enter these ranges, you run it towards your point of control as your major target. And then you got your range high. And if you get, you really got to trade it literally as a range until it breaks, basically, right? So essentially, you would look for, you would assume that if we don't break out of here, that this is going to rotate again back to the range low, so and so forth. We broke out. We tagged that yearly key level all the way over here. And when we broke back in on on April 6th, closed the daily candle in here, super indicative that we were going to really, had a good chance of rotating this whole range. We already had some targets built up in this area, right? We had a couple of untapped levels that we were looking for, which you can kind of see how they stair-stepped basically into down the way here. And I'll pull them up here for you. It was essentially, we had this level, and we were looking for this level and this level. So all above the overall point of control, which is our natural target once you're in, once you enter a range, basically. So our overall point of control comes in right here about 41, right about 42K. And then when we re-entered here, we had these 4 levels pretty much stacked up. So these are the next targets on the way down. Point of control is obviously the major target there. And losing this, you essentially would look lower. So it was just kind of a level by level situation, right? And once again, the overall the idea here is that we're going to rotate this range pretty much. And so, as the days progress, this is kind of how we went in. We walked it down to, let's see here. Going to take these off. We do have our 2-year key level that comes in right at about 39K, which is actually where we, I just want to bring this up too real quick. Where we came back to and back tested today was the weekly open, which is pretty common.
Okay.
Come back and retest your weekly open in the same week there. But what this area is also is, if you're familiar, right, we've been talking about this for quite a while as well, is our 2-year key level, right? So this is a high time frame average price here. So
explain that just for anybody that's new coming in. We've had some new people coming in. What's the 2-year key level?
It's 2 years. The average price of Bitcoin over 2 years. So this is a major support and resistance. You can easily see it even just in this recent area that we've been in over the last couple of months here so far. So that's also where I'll get back to this part here. So now I'm over here, right? So we walked it down, basically tagged our 2-year key level right here. We were talking actually on this date. I'm going to back this up just a little bit here. And this is when we were looking at it with Garrett last week, right? Gareth?
Yep. Gareth, yep.
And what we actually came down to right here, which I'm going to go ahead and hide some of this stuff. Just kind of, walking through a technical idea here, right? So you got our 2-year key level here. And then if we're going to zoom this out a bit. At the time we came down and we basically fell right onto our yearly range low. So from 2021's year, right? You got the range low comes in right here. I'll tag a little line right there. That's the one thing we were looking at last time. So you had some support coming in, just short term at least, literally where we wicked down to, right? Took the bounce from there. And then from there, still hadn't rotated the range in full. And that was the biggest thing that at least we, in the trading group and everything, this is what we were looking for the most, was that we did not rotate the whole range, meaning you did not go from high to low, right? So the low of the range comes in or came in right at 38,000, 550, I believe. And right, same range we've been looking at on this channel several weeks. And you can see how we just basically, this was Easter, I believe, or Monday, whatever it was, tax day, right? This is where everybody sold Bitcoin to get their taxes, and then it turned around, right? So
yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, what we really did, is there's a lot of smaller moves in between, but just looking at a couple of days price action here, all we really did, super technical from so far, right, was we broke out of the range, we ran into a major level of resistance, took a rejection, right, came back down. You couldn't even guess how many people went long right here, right? So as soon as they're underwater, essentially, they're getting liquidated on the way down, fueling it to go down even further. Same thing occurs down here. Everybody goes short, and you get these little runs over here to the upside, right? So today, right, what we were looking for is now we're, stair stepping it back up to range high, essentially, right? So you had that range low, we got our 2-year key level, our point of control is our natural target here, which we tagged last night. And then one of two things, when we came down from here, we did leave a volume target known as the naked point of control. So this is an untapped point of control on a weekly time frame here. And like I said, I'm just throwing out the technical read. Like we went over this in a major update last night in our trading group. And we were looking for this exact response right here, was that we would run it up to this level, pay attention when it does happen. It was right at about 42.7. So we did get a little bit of a higher run up towards about 43. I'm sure moving averages or something else aligns up here in this region. Regardless, we came back down and we closed back below this level, which was indicative they were going to go down. So this was a good area to start shorting, right? And you had a point of control would have been your first target to the downside. We had a couple of the levels here in between. I'm not going to bore you with those, but realistically, it's crazy how it actually came all the way back down and tagged this 2-year key level.
And it's sitting there.
Yeah, and then this is, once again, this was also the weekly open though as well. So it's just kind of like, we have daily opens, we have yearly open, you got the monthly open. Essentially, when you're looking at that on a chart, I mean, that's just like looking at, over here, this is a 4-hour level. When you're zooming out to daily or weekly, this would be where the week opens. So this is a area of support at the moment.
Why do we come back regularly and test a weekly open? Why is that? I mean, is there any rhyme or reason for that, or is that kind of like saying we always come back and fill a CME gap? Is it that type of a thing?
It's just any support resistance levels. I mean, they just once they're there. I mean, essentially, the market just is efficient and tends to back test and it's just like a point of control is just an area that was left and never back tested, right? And then we end up coming back and back testing it. Same with the CME. The CME is a little different, obviously, but yeah, and it's not that you have to come back to these levels, but you start, it's one of those things where as you're paying attention and you're losing these levels, what is the next major below you? Are you going to look for the 4-hour candle that closed right here, or is it going to be more likely the 2 years average price of Bitcoin, which is also your weekly open?
So if you were trading this, right, with where we're at right now, if you were trading this, and again, as always, guys, we're doing this for fun. We're doing this for educational purposes. None of this is financial advice. But if you personally were trading this yourself, would you wait to see a candle close below the 39,794, below that 2-year? And if that happened, are you essentially going to be shorting down to that 38.4 number, or would that be a statistical play that you would look at?
So for me, this this is considered diddling in the middle now. So you really wanted to
diddle in the middle.
Diddling in the middle. Right?
If you guys are wondering what the technical term, you don't want to diddle in the middle.
Right. I took that from Magic Internet Money, but yeah. So I mean, it's the same. Kind of like the idea here of when you get to this level, and once again, not because it's just obviously looking back, we know that we took a huge fall from here. This was you got our 2-year average of price right here. Well, this was a yearly average of price coming in up here, right? That yearly key level. And on top of that, we never reclaimed it, right? And it took us almost a week to basically not reclaim that at all. So this was a really clear rejection, and we were struggling to even get anywhere near it. So this was, you almost had a week to like load up your shorts essentially. From here, now you look at the range below you, and essentially you got, take profits along the way. Because you're not guaranteed to rotate through this whole range. But if you were to take your short up here, you come down. I'm sorry.
I said, but we did. We went right down to the bottom.
And then you got your take profit, and like I said, you had other layers in between here, and then this would have been the next area to be putting on risk. And this is a really good example here, because I guarantee you, how many people you think today, when we ran up to 43, when we came back down to 42, nice big round number, how many do you think entered the market right there only to just get wrecked, right? And you'd be surprised on how many 100x leverage, for whatever reason, the majority, like so many people come in with 100x leverage for just trying to hope that they're going to.
I would be so scared to do that, dude. When I do a 20x leverage, which it's scary, right? It's like, man, I don't have much. 1%. Think about a 1% move in Bitcoin. What's a 1% move in Bitcoin about right now? About $420. Are you kidding me right now? Bitcoin will move $420 in 30 seconds if the market's pumping or dumping. You know what I mean? That seems so crazy to me to do that. Real quick, hold on one second, CVO. Just wanted to thank everybody in the chat. I see the super chats. I see you, Shambles. I see you, Heidi. I see you, AD. Thank you guys very much for the love. We appreciate it. And,
Shillbilly, I like the name.
What'd you say? The shill? Where's the Shillbilly?
Somebody in there, Shillbilly. XRP Shillbilly.
Oh, I see it. Frankie Candle says XRP Shillbilly. Let's go. Frankie Candle's in the house. Good evening, sir. Coming over to check out some CVO TA. Hey, listen, Frankie Candles might be over here sniping your points of control and your TA, Paul. So just make sure it's on point.
Yeah, I'll keep it in mind. What's going on, everybody? So yeah, I mean, if as far as like looking for a trade at this point, I mean, coming down to this region, I guess, I wouldn't be looking for shorts at this point. At this point, you kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like it just, the areas to short would have been, as you're coming closer to the major resistance, now you're coming into major support again. So not to say that we couldn't break this area and go lower, but you really you can't.
You're saying there's not enough movement there to make it worthwhile for how you would trade it. If you would trade a 5, 10, 15x leverage, there's just not a big enough move there to make that truly, or it's more risk than reward. Is that essentially what you're saying? Because
I mean, the problem, I mean, with this would be you run the risk, especially right now, like you're not even at the support. If you say you come back down to this level, I mean, you could. Once again, you'd have to either be looking for a long from this area, or you got to be looking, like you said, if you're going to be breaking down below here, with a stop loss just above. But aside from just the support level at this point, that'd be your only reason behind it. You can't really gauge off of a previous high, because you're talking about all the way back up here. So it's just this is probably not the best area to consider getting in leverage positions. But as far as your your DCA bag, obviously, you're at it once again, almost a 10% discount from where we were even this morning, right? Coming back down to 39K.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
That would be, that would be the suggestion there. Or once again, I mean, if you're going to consider a leverage trade, it would be to take the long from here with a stop loss below. Just because, like I said, probability would be more so that we would get a bounce out of here versus just completely melting down to the downside. And that's the risk you take, is because we could come back down below here. And then you just get wicked out. It's not a great area to just kind of be completely, going mega long or 100x short at.
Yeah, you're looking to see this what it does at this 24-month, and then you would be patient on it to see, hey, if we do break through the 24-month, then you're looking at that range low. If we bust through that, then we've got a whole nother. We're looking at something totally different when we bust through that. When and if we bust through that range low. But in the short term, it's more probable that we're going to get a little bit of a bounce headed back up in the range. Okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yep. And I mean, for upside at this point too, you really, it's you got a little gap in between here, but you really want to see this point of control basically reclaimed again on a closing basis. And then from here, you're pretty much looking up towards your range high. You do have one untapped weekly pivot that is up here that's got at least my attention as well. So if we do come back up here and you start getting everybody really riled up, it's kind of, it's likely that we may see the next rejection up here about this 43.7 Otherwise, you do have the range high basically right next to it. And then, if for upside, if we come through and we clear this range high, start closing above, then we're in good shape. As far as the downside goes, which I'm pretty sure my man Frankie Candle's probably been covering this pretty well. But you start dropping down, essentially this level right here. Let's say right here, about 37.7 ish. You see how we have not closed a daily level below here. You start closing dailies below this level.
Wicking down below, but not closing. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. You start closing down below here, then we're probably going to come back down and take these lows. So that would be, nothing that's really on the table until you start really coming back down and losing this range low. As you can see, we haven't even really come back below this 2-year key level in during this whole move so far. So that's what I'd be looking for. I mean, it's, you're in a good position again, as far as if, when you're asking about taking longs or anything like that. Like I said, if you get another shot at this, 39.8 area, on a low leverage, if you really lose that range low, it's probably, go time anyway. So, you can put you probably want to come
put a tight stop in there.
Probably want to come under this low right there. Yeah. So you're talking like 1 or 2%, because if you lose that, you're probably coming down the range low anyway. So that would be the long situation.
One of the things that I do like about leverage trading, albeit it's obviously super dangerous. So for those of you that are looking to do it, if you're going to do it anyway, we've got a code down below as well. Check out Femex. We definitely enjoy using their services. Or if I was to use their services in the US, I'm not saying that I do, but one of the things I like about leverage trading is that the small moves allow me to, if I'm not too greedy, which I've been working on, Paul, you've helped me with some of this, right? If I'm not too greedy, I can make a nice little run off of a small amount. And some of the ranges that you've been showing us, some of the volume profiles that you've been showing us, I actually haven't messaged you this recently, but I've done a couple trades recently and been kind of utilizing that. And Gareth talks about it too. When you were on last week with him, these ranges and basically trading off of support and resistance. And it's such a basic idea. But I've won my last 2 trades doing that. And I just set a tight stop, and I'm okay with it if I get stopped out, because I'm ultimately not trying to, take over the world with a single leverage trade. And I think that's where a lot of people get mixed up, is that it's enticing to do something like it's fun, it's exciting, like, oh, I'm going to put in a 50x or 100x. But the reality is, the majority of the time, you're gonna lose on something like that unless you just get lucky. And then you get lucky once, and then the next time you're like, oh man, I'm a genius, I'm a god with this leverage trading thing. And then you do it again, and then you realize, oh no, I actually just got lucky. Have you been trading much recently with what the market's been looking like?
Yeah, I mean, this market has actually been really great recently. So even today alone, I mean, today was an amazing area. I didn't hold the short all the way down, but I entered right at that NPOC at 42,699. I mean, so we had a little wick up a bit for a minute, but and just kind of touching on that, if you want to pull that my screen back up again.
Yeah, let me ask you real quick before you pull this up. If anybody in the chat wanted to get into your trading group, because I know that you've got some people in there. I know people like to get involved in the more daily action with what you're doing and learning I know that you're teaching stuff over there. How can they get involved in that?
We have a Discord server, and if it's not on here, you can find it on Twitter.
It would be on here, but you got to respond to the text message where it says, "Hey, send me all your socials." That one.
you gotta send me that message before 3 minutes before we got to be on.
So we'll get that added. We'll get that added down below. Here's your Here's your chart.
I see my man Rivalry in the chat here. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too is that it really is just that it really is more so about taking the smaller, not even smaller, but just more consistent wins, and they are going to come in quicker, smaller doses versus trying to be everybody wants obviously the 38.6 the exact bottom and run it up to 100K Bitcoin. But I mean, how many times has that just gotten you completely? Like, how many people do you think held? Even if they longed somewhat, in this region, got a really decent entry, stop loss, whatever.
Held past the 44.5 number
Yeah, just held it, assuming that we were going back to 50K, only to come
Mhm.
back down and either close at a very small. You got a lot of stress and you got a lot of emotion coming your way
Yeah.
in this move here. And then
I
at the end of the
actually
day,
oh, sorry. You were still talking.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, I actually had somebody in a TikTok comment. You know how these comments get funny. I was talking about taking profits, and I was talking about, hey, I'll take it in. I would personally take it in Bitcoin right now, and I was just kind of going through that. And the comment said, well, why don't you just, if Bitcoin drops, then everything's going to drop. So why don't you just sell everything and then buy back in at the bottom? And I said, oh, yeah, just buy bottoms, sell tops. This is easy. Why didn't I think of that before? And you're right. It's funny because when you do first get in, it seems like when we look at this chart and you've got these points of control, you've got these range lows, these range highs, these pivots, you've got all of these things on here, but we're looking backwards right now.
Right. That's the thing, man.
It's easy to look at
When it's
backwards,
the
or
moment
easier,
of, even this one right here. I mean, this is, at this time, this was Monday night or, whatever, like 1 a.m. So if you were even awake, at least Eastern wise, right? I watched this one unfold pretty, live. We were putting it, updates in the group literally as this was coming down. I was like, we're about to be at the range low, and it's like,
Yeah.
at that point, you do have to consider, it's not like I knew it's like, oh, this is 100% the bottom, right? You can look at things like order flow and open interest to kind of help guide you along those lines, but it's you kind of just have to have that be able to put some risk on at certain places, and if you're going to be willing to risk something, obviously this is runs the risk of coming lower, right? Like, and then you do have to look to that next level. And what happens is people during this moment only can look lower. Like they're like, that's not going to hold. It's going to 37. You get to the next. It's always going to be you're looking at that next level. So. And realistically, this candle right here, where you got that wick, and then you came up, and this next green one was actually, where you want to be, and that's the thing. People don't take the time. And this was 4 hours later. You had a solid 6 hours to kind of get in near the bottom, right? And that's another like just trick and task that many wouldn't get into. Also, this would have been 4 a.m. too, right? So for a lot of people, that is almost overnight. So. But yeah, a lot of people, you're chasing. Look, I mean, this is another good example. Even if you were looking at this chart and you get in at the exact low, if you don't have take profit, ideas in place, you would have came back and lost that. You would have got stopped out at some point when you would have been up, a nice 4%, give or take and once again, you would have held that 4% win for 16 hours and then just gave it all back and then eventually lost it. So. It does. It takes. I mean, it's not easy, man. Like
it's not.
And like you said, looking back is a lot easier as far as like oh yeah, this is what happened. This is what happened. But yeah, like living the price action out is very tough.
Yeah, XRP Shillbilly said longing bottoms and shorting tops is scary, and you know what?
It is, yeah,
it is scary, right? Because it's counterintuitive. What your emotions are telling you to do is, oh my gosh, the market's dumping. It's not going to stop. The world is over. Obviously, I'm using a very extreme, example here, but ultimately, that's what's happening. Your emotions are saying, "Uh-oh, something is off here. We're headed down. Where's it going to stop?" And it's counterintuitive to what you're doing. But if you listen to any professional trader, if you listen to anyone that is even doing long-term hodling, the time to buy is when things are down. Even if you're dollar cost averaging, if you're going to dollar cost average, there's a lot of people that'll say, hey, just buy every single week or every single day or every single month or whatever your process looks like at the exact same time, and boom. And that works, right? I think the other idea is, when you see a big move to the downside at any point during a week, if you're doing it weekly, maybe that's when you make the purchase, right? But the reality is, it is absolutely counterintuitive. The scary times are the times that you want to be buying. It's the same thing with trading too. So I do agree. Buying bottoms and selling tops is scary, and B, hard to hard as heck to actually execute. What else we got? What else we got going on? I'll tell you what. Can we take a peek at? Let's see here. Hey, drop it in the chat if you're in the chat right now and you want to see an altcoin live. I'm gonna have CVO give us a little bit on my girl ETH real quick. But while he's pulling that up and gonna dive into ETH here for a second, why don't you guys drop a? I'll just pick one at random. and we'll go over an altcoin. We'll put them on the spot and do a little altcoin. So toss it into the chat, and we'll do it here in a minute. Tell me what ETH's doing. ETH doing the same thing as Bitcoin's doing here, or what's up?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they're still just trapped back in these old ranges, man. ETH has been basically so same thing, a little different for ETH, a little different story here. So the same range I'm looking at for Bitcoin and for ETH here is telling a little different story, because we have not rotated the whole range back down to the low, and that would be all the way back down to like $2,300. So I don't necessarily know if we're going to see that. Obviously, that would really I mean, that's like Bitcoin's going to be having a breakdown under like 37 and 35K at that point.
Yeah.
But
If
you
not
know,
lower.
we broke back into this range, barely getting out of it here. You know, put in this possible double top here earlier today, and then shot straight down, right? So right now we're holding, you know, back in the range, back under this 3-month level. We got a March open, and then we got our 2-year. So the same deal as we were looking at Bitcoin. You got a 2-year high time frame average price.
Yeah.
So the 2-year average comes in right about like 28.70. So that would be the next major area to the downside if we don't start getting a bounce out of Bitcoin here soon. As far as upside would go, right? You really still just want to get back out of this range, hold this yearly key level up here as support.
What is the yearly? About 3,000, about 3K?
31. Yep.
About 31. Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, short term, I'd look up this, the April open. And then we got a weekly pivot up here that would, you know, kind of probably come into play the same time frame. If Bitcoin runs it up to like that 43.7 area, I would imagine that ETH runs it up to this $3,300 area at the same time.
Make that move. I'll tell you what, I see a couple of, and actually I'd love to see this one too. I don't remember whether I've asked you to do this before or not, but how about VeChain? Can we hit on VeChain? Take a peek at that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. Crypto fan, while CVO is pulling that up, make sure that you guys jump into the Discord. The information is down below. We've got Danger Close Alpha. We're bringing the survivalist community together with the crypto community. There's a lot of people that believe that they might be ready if things, you know, went sideways in our communities and our economies. And I believe that ultimately we're probably not. We've got a little piece of, we've got a couple meetings tomorrow with our partners and kind of nailing out some specifics. We're going to then have our some giveaways going on through this weekend and into next week. And we're going to continue doing those. We're going to be laying out the roadmap, like actually putting the roadmap out. And we are working on a metaverse AI something or other. I can't give you too much because we have a meeting on that tomorrow as well. I just want to let you guys know, for those of you that are in the Discord, if you're wondering why we've been a little bit quiet and cryptic about what's going on, it's, again, just as a reminder, we are not trying to tell you that we're going to do something unless we're going to do it. We actually paid our artist today, and that's super exciting. We hired an artist, for those of you that don't know, from DC Comics. So not only is it going to be a dope NFT with real world utility where you're going to actually learn to survive, but also you're going to have some dope art as well. So make sure that you check that out. All right, let's take a look at VeChain. Let's get it.
Yeah, so a couple weeks back, we pretty much bottomed out at the you know, quarterly range here for many altcoins and Bitcoin when it originally came down to 38,000 back on the 15th of March. So about a month ago at this point, and everything pretty much, you know, had a nice run. And you know, one of the things we were looking for was when Bitcoin was running into that 47,700, that major level of resistance, and not, you know, overtaking it. A lot of the altcoins were coming into major targets as well, right? So VeChain, for example, had punched up like 100% in a really short period of time, coming up to the yearly open. It actually broke out of this range right here. So, I mean, it did have a chance of kind of holding this level and taking off from there. But once we broke back into this range, you know, same deal. You know, you run the probability of one coming back down to the point of control, which is about it's like 5.3 cents. So we're at 0.058 right now. So 0.053 would be that point of control area. It's also a monthly key level. And then below that, we have our range low. So to see that completely, you know, drop down, you'd probably need to see about a 10% drop out of Bitcoin. You know, this is one of those things where it's, you know, really want to pay attention to Bitcoin to see how, you know, it's going to react to kind of, you know, determine what your altcoins are looking like. So, you know, as far as upside right now for VeChain, you want to see this daily level reclaimed right about 6.061 cents. After that, we're looking up to the quarterly key level. being this close to the point of control, though, like I said, this is almost like a magnet to price.
Yeah.
It's something to just look out for. Once again, this is, to get another drop like that, though, you're probably going to be seeing Bitcoin pull back. So it's one of those things. If Bitcoin starts, climbing higher, well, then we're probably going to start moving upwards of these next levels up here. And then we got the range high does come in about 7.5 cents. And then after that, you'd be climbing after that. So
let me ask you this: in your
yeah.
trading group, are you guys heavily into? I know there's a lot of people in here that came over from like Frankie Candles and whatever, but I just wanted to touch on it. Are you guys big into alts, or are you more big into Bitcoin, Ethereum? What's kind of the feeling in terms of the stuff that you're doing over there?
We offer both. I mean, like I said, Magic Internet Money. He's a amazing analyst and trader, and he basically focuses on Bitcoin heavily.
Okay.
And then I cover the altcoins pretty much, focus wise. But we do a little bit of both. I mean, and there's just times when one or the other is just, you just kind of have your pick of the litter at that point, right? Like today was a great Bitcoin trading day. The altcoins would have been, but it's like even on the run up, like Bitcoin was running up towards 43,000, and many altcoins weren't even moving. It's very odd. But then obviously they all took the fall with it, though, which, one of those things too. It's like you can be paying attention to Bitcoin and note that we're, probably going to take out that point of control we were looking for. And if we start coming down, then, your favorite altcoin is going to go with it. So, but yeah, we do a little bit of both. And it's not all about leverage trading either. We talk about that here and there, but, with the altcoins, like I said, with VeChain, I mean, you're looking at 100% moves. You don't need leverage. And honestly, the majority, like most people with, if you're ever going to try, like when you're going to start doing something, I mean, it really isn't for, the majority. And the only reason I would even say, like, if you wanted to try it, like is to try to short, right? And even then you should really only try like a 1x short. And that just allows you to make money on the way down. You know what I mean? So if you get a 20% drop, and you're wanting to get into something, you'll capitalize 20%, right? If you want to take a little hedge, but the majority of people are not going to be able to. You're not going to succeed in that aspect. So, but these levels right here, I mean, it's perfect for just even spot holding, man. I mean, like I said, if you wait and you get a nice entry at this point of control, or even you flip this daily, or even at this quarterly key level, and we run it back to the range high. Which that's not a huge move there, but 10% there. If you start flipping that, you got your monthly open.
Dude, think about what you just said. It's not a huge move there. 10%, right? We are so crypto now, because if you told somebody in the stock market, like, yeah, not really a huge move, 10.78% or whatever, and they look at you like you were freaking nuts. And I want to remind everybody of something. What CVO said a minute ago was that you don't need leverage on all of this stuff, right? And I want to reiterate that, because I was talking about this earlier, but we are too greedy. We are looking for these, I want 1,000% move. I want a 500% move, or it's not, or it's not worth me doing. No. Let me tell you this. I have not done very much leverage in my time. I've been in crypto over 5 years, and I've not done very much leverage. I've started playing around with some leverage recently, but that's because I've been trying fervently to learn the TA side of things more. For those of you that don't know, I'm not the TA guy, right? I've been learning from CVO. I've been learning from Gareth. I've been learning from Frankie Candles. I've been learning from from Jebb, for sure, from Jebb as well. I've been learning from these people and saying, you know what? Let me just put a little bit, and this is one of the things that I would recommend. You normally say not financial advice. I'm going to give you some financial advice. Maybe try to separate and have a trading portfolio that you full on are prepared to lose, just flat out. Like it's almost like something like, hey, instead of going out this week, maybe I'm going to put a little trading portfolio together. I would have spent $200 out this weekend on whatever. I'm going to put that into a trading portfolio. And I say that because if you put in your actual portfolio, you've heard people talk about the leverage sweats. And we jokingly say that. I actually have a little group with CVO and we call it the leverage sweats and whatever, because ultimately what's happening then? Now you're taking your long-term holds and you're literally ready to flat out risk it. Why do you not need to do that? Because let me tell you, patience over the last 5 years has paid. I can't even tell you how much it has paid for just letting it sit there. Now, there's going to be people like CVO, like Frankie, that like Jebb, that do a lot of trading because that's what they do. But what I want to remind you is the patience in and of itself, if you can truly do it, it just works. Okay. If you're in solid projects, the patience works. If you want to get into trading, I just want to reiterate, maybe set something to the side that you just flat out are willing to lose, because I will tell you, greed gets in the way and stupidity gets in the way. And I'm talking about myself. I did some stupid things. I remember the first leverage trade that I did this year, and I messaged Paul and I said, hey, CVO, what should I do here? Boom, boom, boom. He told me exactly what I should do. And when it got to where he told me to take profits, I was like, nah, it's gonna go. It's gonna keep running. It's got to keep running. I mean, shoot, look at it, right? And then, woo, and it turned right back around, and I got my butt handed to me. I'm sure you can relate with that, Paul. It took you a while, right? When you got in and started trading, it took you a while to get more and more. I mean, you're still learning, I'm sure, but it took you a while to get comfortable, right?
Nobody's perfect, and everybody takes losses, and that's the name of the game. And but it's literally the risk management. And the thing about leverage too, man, is like everybody looks at it so wrong. And you look at it as like this, everybody gets so excited and they look at it as the moonshot 100x and 20x and all this. And, you know, you might get lucky once, and that's about it on some of those big ones, or somebody somewhere did. And I guarantee you, anybody that's doing that on a regular basis loses 9 times out of 10. And they just get the money shot, for a screenshot here or there, or they're.
I was about to say, they just show you, hey, look
what I
did,
whatever it is, right? And it's like, no, in my opinion, at least, not many active traders are going anywhere more than 10, and it just, your position sizes matters anyway. So like if you're like flipping into 50x and 40x, and I mean that's just so much, man. You're talking about a 1% liquidation rate at that point, not even a stop loss. You can't even have a stop loss. Like that's just your straight risking it. Like you said, the other thing is that leverage is really a tool that allows you to, when you do the old, not your keys, not your wallet type deal. Like if you don't want to have a lot of money on these exchanges, you want to buy your long-term holds, throw it in a cold wallet, but it's boring during the last 3 months when Bitcoin's just straight going sideways. You can have, instead of 40 grand on an exchange, you can put 4, and then you 10x leverage, and you take some smart, you don't have to be that exposed to the market for one, or to, hacks and exchanges and this and that. But it takes a strategy, and it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a game plan. Not just, open up your phone and see that, we're at 42K and we fell from 43, and I'm just going to open a long because I know that 42 is support, because that just makes sense, and it's a round number. And like I said, how many people do you, I could tell you, I mean, we could look it up right now in the order flow and see how many people opened up longs at 42K. It was quite a bit, even more at 43. So, it's crazy, man. But, you don't need to do leverage, and it's the majority of people will not win that.
There's a reason that these exchanges there's a reason that they make so much money, guys. Okay. I mean, let's just call it like it is. There is a reason that Femex, for example, and listen, we have a Femex code, and I don't make any bones about this. We make money if you sign up under Femex. Like, I'm not telling anybody any different, right? But the reality is, the reason that they do so well is because there are a lot of people that are not winning on their trades. It's like the casino. What do you think these casinos give away rooms and food and drinks and all this stuff because they're like kind-hearted? No, they're not, right? They ultimately are making a ton of freaking money because the house wins. And this is the same thing, which is why we just want to reiterate, just be careful. Do your due diligence as it relates to learning on the front end, and then make sure that you're using funds that you are 100% prepared to lose. If you go to bed, this is my opinion, I don't know if you agree with this or not, Paul, but if you go to bed with enough leverage or enough money on an open trade without a stop loss, that you're waking up in the middle of the night rolling over like, oh my gosh, where's it at? And you're like freaking out, you either A, have too much money in there, B, don't have a stop loss, or C, too much leverage, or a combination of the three. Because this is not about it's not a casino, I guess is what I want to say. It's not. People turn it into that, but it's really not. This is a place where you can absolutely do some research, follow people like CVO that can teach you some really good ways to win the percentage game. And the percentage game is, hey, if I can win 6 out of 10 trades, and I consistently can win 6 out of 10 trades, guess what? There's a little word that comes into play. It's called profit. I'm profitable at that point, assuming obviously that you're using the same amount of, you know, money on those 6 trades, or on those 10 trades, I should say. Is there anything else, Paul, that you'd like to tell the group? We got about we got about 50 people, 48 people in here. Is there anything that you'd like to tell people as it relates to just trading as a whole? Any kind of I don't know. I think sometimes we dive into TA Thursdays and we get so much into the technical aspect of it that maybe sometimes we forget, like, hey, there's probably a lot of people in here that maybe don't even understand some of the fundamentals of where to start, where to go. Anything else that you'd like to toss out there for anybody that is kind of newer to the game?
You know, like I said, the act, if you're brand new to trading or you know, anything and markets in general, actively trading is probably not going to, you know, that's something, regardless, it's going to take years for anybody, even if you have the greatest teachers.
Yeah.
For a perfect example, not that I'm some great teacher by any means, but, you know, like you just said, you came to me and asked me what I thought of a trade, an idea, and,
Yep.
you know, it was a good idea. You had it, whatever. I let you know where, you know, you could probably take some profit at, The emotion at the time still came over you, right?
Yep.
And it's like, you know, no matter what, you know, even if you're learning from literally the best, aside from somebody basically pulling the trigger for you,
Mm-hmm.
it's you know, just practice with small amounts is all I got to say. I mean, it's obviously possible to make it a daily thing, and, you know, even with $1,000, you know, you can make 100 to 300, you know, on a 1 to 3% move a day, out of Bitcoin or Ethereum. You don't even got to go to any of these other altcoins, but just the two of those, you know, plenty of liquidity. You know, you don't get crazy moves often. You know, today was
Mm-hmm.
a big day, but generally you'll get a nice 1 to 3% move out of Bitcoin or Ethereum on, you know, 4 times out of 5.
Yeah.
And then multiple times a day, right? They'll just kind of range in between that area, and essentially, you know, you'll have areas to look for. But it doesn't take, you know, you putting every single dime into,
Yeah.
you know, everything, and then risking it all for the biscuit. You know, like, take the small wins all
Mm-hmm.
the time, and then eventually, you know, like somebody like today, if you would have got in on a short at 40, you know, 43,000, and then just moved your stop loss down, you would have had a great win today. You probably wouldn't have planned it, but you would have, you know, it would have just worked out. Like, you,
Yeah.
otherwise you could have just took the 200, you know, you go for the smaller $200, $150, $50, whatever it is, like, go for the
Yep.
small wins consistently and then win big occasionally. Like, it's
They,
kind of
they
the idea.
so that no, for sure, and I'm glad that you said that. They add up, right? It's like a you know, traditionally people do, you know, let's use like a 401k or an IRA as an example, and they have limits on the amount that you can put in, and people are limited at that. And it seems like, wait a minute, I can only put $6,000 into this in a year or whatever. I think that's what the Roth numbers are, depending on how much. If you don't make more than 150k, there's some rules on it, but at any event, I can only put 6k a year in there. Like, how is that going to turn into anything? Well, it compounds, right? And ultimately what's happening here is, think about it. If you do start with $1,000 or even $100 or whatever, and you are able to continue, let's just say you do, let's say 10%, right? Which is a great win, but we don't look at it in crypto like that. You heard what Paul said earlier today. It's not that big of a move. It's like 10%. That's a freaking great move. Let's start with $1,000. We go from 1,000, we have a 10% win. We're taking out fees and stuff, guys, but the fees are inconsequential when we start adding up numbers like this. But we go from 1,000 to 1,100, then we've got 110, so now we're at 1,210. Then we've got 121, now we're at 1,331. Then we've got $131, right? So, like, all of a sudden now you're at 1,500, and then all of a sudden you're at 1,650, and it literally very quickly the numbers will start to run even on 10% if you can do what I was talking about earlier, and that's be patient. It will happen. It can happen, but you've got to study, right? If you're just getting in, you've got to listen to other people, and the emotions, I think, is one of the biggest things that if you can figure out a way to pull that and put it off to the side, whether that's, you know, take profits, setting stuff. For me, what I've started to do, because Paul, we were talking about it. I said, hey, Paul, here, I got a good trade here. I just got in. I think, what do you think of this? He tells me what. And just like he said, I got to the point where it was like, oh, that's my take profit target. And I got greedy and I didn't do it. So what I've started to do is I've actually set some take profits and a stop loss. And I just I say, okay, I'm happy with this in my mind right now. Then I should be happy with it then. And let the computer at that point execute on, hey, either a stop or a take profit. And that for me works. I know some people will argue and say, well, wait a minute, what happens if you see this, that, the third? Well, you can go in and make that change. But for me, it allows the trade to actually execute. And I don't have any, of the emotional side, in it to mess me up, because that's usually where I end up losing. So
that's it.
all right, crypto fam. Well, listen, we appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Just a reminder, as always, jump into the Discord. The information's down below. Danger Close Alpha. You can see one of our little logo down the left-hand corner. Make sure you follow CVO. His information is down below the video. I will add his trading group as well when we get off here. So if you guys want to jump into that. And as a reminder, also, guys, Frankie Candles. I think there's a bunch of people from the Candle Mafia in the chat. He goes from about 5:45 to 7:30, 7:45, whatever. We are big supporters of his channel. He's a big supporter of ours, so we appreciate Frankie Candles. Keep killing it over there, brother. If you're in here, if you guys want to check out, just now tonight, it's Thursday, so we're doing TA Thursday when we bring Paul on. The other nights of the week, right? We are not very TA centric. So get your TA fill, then come on over. We're usually talking news, or Wednesdays we get some conspiratorial ideas. We have all sorts of fun. And Paul, let me ask you, I don't know what your schedule is right now as it relates to live streams. What are you doing, or as it relates to live streams for people to check you out somewhere else?
I was just about to say, actually, every Thursday night after I do this show, I'm gonna jump all in my own channel.
Okay.
With it's gonna be 9:30,
right.
so in an hour. Me,
Okay.
Magic Internet Money, the other trader and analyst in my group, and then Max, our order flow and open interest specialist. We're all three jumping on and basically going over, at least the day, like
YouTube?
what happened today. And then we're going to be covering like exo charts, some single prints.
YouTube or in your group?
I'll ask some questions about that.
YouTube or in your group?
YouTube. Yeah, I'll just be on my YouTube channel.
Okay, awesome.
9:30, about an hour, we'll be jumping on there, and we'll do that every Thursday. So after this,
so guys, listen, Thursdays, you could literally OD on freaking TA, right? You could start off with Frankie Candles at 5:45, right after Around the Blockchain. Then you could dive into Debate Crypto. You can listen to everything that we've got to offer, and then you can wait just like an hour, and you can just finish it off with CVO. And I will tell you, Magic, his partner, is freaking fantastic. He's added a lot to what they're doing, and that's I think been a big push moving forward. So make sure to check him out. Crypto fam, we love you guys. If nobody's told you before today, like for real, we love you. We appreciate you. I thank you for all the support, for all of you that gave super chats today. I got a big old mwah. Thank you very much. We appreciate you for supporting the channel. Yes, I just gave all of you a nice big kiss. So hopefully that is appreciated. And then what was I going to say? I think that's it. Yeah. Just do your thing. We're here Monday through Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Saturday nights are the nights when we have our debates as a general rule. So make sure that you guys check those out. Those are always fun. But just remember to question everything, trust nothing. And until next time, hodl like it's hot.
100x leverage, baby.
See you soon. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Maybe not. Okay.